Control the cash flow or be controlled by it. The clock is ticking, not just the clock on the wall, but the clock inside your life. Every second is either building your freedom or chaining you tighter to the life you say you don't want. And here's the truth, most people will never say out loud. It's not the amount of money you make that will decide your future. It's not how hard you work, how many hours you grind, or how many degrees hang on your wall. It's this one simple, brutal question. Where is your cash flowing? Because cash flow is the bloodstream of your life. It's the invisible river that either feeds your dreams or starves them. If you control it, you write the rules. If you don't, it writes your ending. You see, most people never think about the direction of money. They just think about the amount. They obsess over the paycheck but ignore where that paycheck goes. They win the income battle but lose the cash flow war. And that's why so many people can earn 6 figures a year and still live trapped, while others with far less break free. It's like a dam holding back water. If you build it with purpose, the water works for you, turning turbines, creating energy, fueling your city. But if you leave it cracked and unguarded, the water rushes wherever it wants, destroying everything in its path. Money is the same. Without control, it flows away from you into taxes you could have avoided, into debts that don't pay you back, into possessions that only rot and rust. With control, it flows toward you into assets that multiply, into investments that grow, while you sleep, into opportunities that open more doors than you could imagine. This is why the difference between the wealthy and the struggling is not just opportunity, it's direction. The wealthy ask, how do I make money flow toward me? The struggling ask, how can I make more money, but never stop to see where it's leaking out? Look at history. Henry Ford didn't become a giant because he built a car, thousands built cars. He became a giant because he controlled the entire flow of production, from steel to rubber to the assembly line. Andrew Carnegie didn't just own steel mills, he owned the supply chain. Walt Disney didn't just draw cartoons, he created a system where every movie birthed merchandise parks and experiences that fed back into the empire. Control, not just creation, not just work. Control. You can work harder, longer, more desperately than anyone else and still be broke if your cash flows against you. You can cut every coffee clip, every coupon, and still be drowning if the direction of your money's wrong. But you can also start small with little and rise beyond what anyone thought possible if every dollar becomes a soldier that fights for you instead of against you. And here's where it gets real. Debt is not the enemy. Bad debt is. The kind of debt that takes from you month after month and leaves you weaker. Good debt, the kind that brings money and the kind that buys assets instead of liabilities, is a weapon. It's the lever that can lift you higher than your own hands could ever reach. Most people buy a house and call it an asset. But if it takes money from you every month, it's not an asset, it's a chain. Most people buy cars, clothes, gadgets that drain their pockets. But the wealthy, they buy rentals that pay them, businesses that feed them, investments that grow without them. They understand one simple law: cash flow decides the winner. And if you want to win, really win, you have to stop living like a consumer and start thinking like a controller. Stop asking, what can I afford? And start asking, what will this pay me back? Stop chasing more income without a plan and start building a system that multiplies whatever you already have. I don't care if you start with $10 or $10,000, every single dollar you control is a soldier, and soldiers need orders. Send them into assets, send them into opportunities, send them into streams that run back to you, because if you don't command them, the world will. And trust me, the world is very good at taking your soldiers and making them fight for someone else's empire. The people who stay trapped are not stupid. They are not lazy. They are simply distracted. They are too busy working for money to realize that money could be working for them. They are so busy surviving today that they never control the flow toward tomorrow. But the moment you wake up, really wake up, you see it everywhere. Every purchase is a choice. Every dollar is a decision. And every decision is either building your freedom or building your prison. So decide now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because the game is already being played whether you realize it or not. You're either the player or the piece. And if you're the piece, you already know who's moving you. Control the cash flow or be controlled by it. That's not a suggestion. That's the law. It's the same law that built empires, launched revolutions, and crowned kings in every age. The same law that will decide whether you're just another name on a paycheck stub or the name on the check itself. And once you taste what it's like to have money flowing toward you instead of away from you, you will never ever go back. Belief is the spark. It is the ignition switch that turns an ordinary life into something unstoppable. Without it, all the strategy in the world will die in your hands. With it, even the smallest seed of action can grow into an empire. But here's the truth, most people never grasp. Belief is not something you have when things are going well. Belief is something you choose when things look impossible. Belief is forged in the darkness when no one is watching, when the scoreboard says you're losing, when the voices around you whisper, it's over. History is littered with people who had nothing but belief. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Every failure could have been the end. Every failure was an invitation to quit. But belief wouldn't let him stop. Belief kept him in the fight when the world said, give it up. And because of that belief, billions live in light instead of darkness. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Banks refused him. Investors laughed at him. But he saw a world in his mind so clearly that he could walk through it before it existed. That vision, powered by belief, built something that generations have called the happiest place on earth. Belief is the root of all wealth, all freedom, all greatness. If you don't believe in your ability to control your own cash flow, then every opportunity will pass you by. Not because it wasn't real, not because it wasn't possible, but because you didn't believe enough to step forward and take it. The mind is a gate. Belief is the key. Without it, you are locked out of the life you want. With it, you can walk through any door, climb over any wall, break through any barrier. And belief doesn't come from wishing, it comes from deciding, from saying, this is my direction, this is my standard, this is my future, and nothing will pull me off course. You will be tested. You will have days when you think you've lost your mind for even trying. You will have months when nothing works and everything feels like a waste. But those are the days belief was built for. Belief isn't needed when the wind is at your back. Belief is needed when you're walking headfirst into the storm, when the rain blinds you, when the road turns to mud, and you keep moving anyway. That's the moment you separate yourself from the 99%. Because the 99% wait for belief to appear like a feeling. The 1% understand belief as a discipline. It's an order you give yourself every single day until your life bends to match it. And belief fuels clarity. Clarity is knowing exactly where you are going and why. It's the ability to see the target before you aim, to feel the result before you arrive. Most people stumble not because they lack talent, but because they lack a target. They drift. They chase whatever is in front of them. They take whatever life hands them. And then they wonder why they feel lost. Clarity is a weapon. It slices through distraction. It eliminates noise. It tells you exactly what to say yes to, and more importantly, what to say no to. Andrew Carnegie had clarity when he decided he wouldn't just make steel, he would dominate the entire industry. Steve Jobs had clarity when he decided that every Apple product would be designed not just for function, but for beauty. Clarity doesn't leave room for maybe. Clarity doesn't allow someday. Clarity says this is it. This is the path. Nothing else matters. When you have clarity, you control your cash flow differently. You don't just make purchases, you make moves. You don't just spend, you invest. You don't just survive, you build. And with clarity comes vision. Vision is the ability to see what does not yet exist and to believe in it so deeply that you pull it into reality. Every empire, every fortune, every transformation in history began in the invisible space of vision. The Wright brothers saw flight before it was possible. Oprah Winfrey saw herself speaking to millions when she was a little girl on a porch in Mississippi. Vision is not fantasy, it is the blueprint for the life you are building. When you combine belief, clarity, and vision, your cash flow becomes a tool instead of a trap. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You stop playing defense and start playing offense. You stop asking for permission and start building what you came here to build. But vision without discipline dies. Discipline is the steel in the structure. It's the part that keeps you moving when motivation fades. Motivation will get you started. Discipline will get you finished. Discipline is waking up earlier than you want. It's saying no when you want to say yes. It's keeping your word to yourself even when no one would know you broke it. The wealthy are not always more talented than you. They are often simply more disciplined than you. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They track their cash flow, guard it, multiply it, protect it, day after day, year after year, until they own more freedom than they can spend. And here's the hard truth. Without discipline, every dollar you make will escape you. Without discipline, every opportunity will rot in your hands. Without discipline, belief, clarity, and vision are just words. Action is the bridge between the life you dream of and the life you live. Without it, belief is just hope. Without it, clarity is just a map gathering dust. Without it, vision is just a picture in your mind that fades with time. Action is the proof you mean what you say. It's the line in the sand that separates talkers from builders, dreamers from doers, wishers from winners. And here's the thing, most people wait to act until they feel ready. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect conditions. But the truth is, readiness is a lie. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You act and that makes you ready. You leap and that builds your wings. Every breakthrough in history was born in action. Edison didn't wait for electricity to feel safe, he experimented until light filled the room. Carnegie didn't wait for someone to hand him a steel empire, he built it piece by piece, deal by deal. Disney didn't wait for the world to believe in his characters, he breathed life into them until the world had no choice but to watch. Action forces the world to respond to you. It forces doors to open, it forces opportunities to reveal themselves, because nothing moves until you do. And when you act, something else happens. Gratitude grows. Gratitude is the fuel that keeps you going when the results are slow, when the nights are long, when the work feels endless. It is the reminder that even in the fight you are standing on ground someone else would give everything to reach. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you can build with what you have. Gratitude is not passive. It is not sitting in a corner saying, "I'm thankful." Gratitude is active. It's using every blessing, every resource, every connection, every skill you've been given and multiplying it. It's taking the small and making it great. It's taking the great and making it greater. The most dangerous thing in the world is a person who is grateful and hungry. Gratitude keeps you humble. Hunger keeps you moving. Together they make you unstoppable. And yet the road will twist. The plan will shift. Life will throw storms you never saw coming. That's why you must master adaptability. Adaptability is not abandoning your vision. It's adjusting your approach without letting go of your outcome. It's seeing that the mountain you plan to climb is blocked so you find another route instead of turning back. It's pivoting when the market changes. It's evolving when technology shifts. It's learning new skills when old ones become obsolete. The greatest survivors in history weren't the strongest, they were the most adaptable. They were the ones who could bend without breaking change, without losing themselves, shift without surrendering. Adaptability is what turns obstacles into stepping stones, losses into lessons, and failures into fuel. And when you live like this, when you believe, when you have clarity, when your vision is alive, when discipline drives you, when action fuels you, when gratitude strengthens you, when adaptability protects you, you step into the rarest of all categories, lifelong growth. Lifelong growth is the refusal to plateau. It's the mindset that says, I am never finished. I am never done. I can always sharpen, always rise, always become more. It's understanding that success is not a place you arrive at, it's a state you live in. You do not build an empire once. You build it every day you wake up and choose to push forward. You do not master cash flow once. You master it every day you track, invest, protect, and multiply. You do not achieve greatness once. You achieve it every day. You demand more of yourself than the world demands of you. And when you live in lifelong growth, you are free. Because no setback can destroy you. You've built yourself too strong. No loss can break you. You know how to rise. No change can leave you behind. You adapt faster than it arrives. This is the mindset of the 1%. This is the life of the builders, the leaders, the unshakable. This is the life of those who control the cash flow instead of being controlled by it. So I will say it again, not as advice, not as suggestion, but as the law that will decide the rest of your life. Control the cash flow or be controlled by it. Command every dollar like it's a soldier in your army. Send it where it will fight for you. Refuse to let it be captured by waste, by impulse, by ignorance. Build the discipline. Take the action. Protect the vision. Adapt to the battlefield. And never, ever stop growing. Because the world is already moving. Money is already flowing. The only question is, will it flow to you or away from you? Decide now, and when you do, never go back. Then listen closely, because this is not just a speech. This is a turning point. From this moment on, you cannot pretend you didn't hear it. You cannot unsee the truth once it's been burned into your mind. Because now you know the game is not about how much you earn, but about how much you command. Every time you get paid, you are at a crossroads. One road leads to control, where your money moves with purpose, where every dollar is an employee working for you, where the flow runs toward your freedom. The other road leads to captivity, where your money leaks through the cracks, where your efforts feed someone else's empire, where the flow runs against you until you drown in it. And you make that choice 100 times a month, in every bill you pay, in every swipe of a card, in every contract you sign, in every purchase you justify. Some of you will hear this and feel a fire rise in your chest. That's your instinct telling you it's time. It's time to stop being the one who works for money and start being the one who makes money work for you. It's time to stop measuring success by income and start measuring it by control. It's time to stop letting fear, comfort, or habit dictate the flow of your life. And here's the secret: once you decide, the first change is not in your bank account. It's in your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of the system and start seeing yourself as the architect of your own economy. You stop playing the role of the passenger and step into the role of the driver. You begin to look at money differently. You no longer ask, "What can I buy?" You ask, "What will this pay me?" You no longer see debt as a chain, but as a lever if it's placed on the right asset. You no longer see spending as harmless, but as a declaration of which empire you're building. And slowly the flow begins to shift, not by luck, not by magic, but by intention, by discipline, by relentless, deliberate daily control. And when you feel that shift, when you see the first dollar flow toward you instead of away from you, you will understand something profound. Freedom is not a dream, it's a system. It's not reserved for the lucky. It's earned by the discipline. From that point forward, you will never look at a paycheck the same way. You will never call a liability an asset again. You will never chase income without purpose, because now you know the truth, and the truth demands you act. So here's the last thing I'll leave you with. Engrave it on your mind. Every day you either control the cash flow or you are controlled by it. Every decision is a vote for your freedom or for your captivity. Every dollar is a soldier, either fighting for you or fighting for someone else. From this day on, you give the orders. You decide the mission. You command the army. You control the flow. And when you do, the world stops moving you around the board. You start moving the world.